Hey everybody, Super Nova here, and welcome to the showcase of Wave 4 of the Booster Course Pass. So without further ado, let's go. For the first track, we have Amsterdam Drift from Mario Kart Tour. Players will be starting on the first route of Amsterdam Drift, after passing under the museum, gliding over into the fields portion. Looping around, there's a couple of Monty Moles around too, so you can get jump boosts off of those. Passing over the bridge right here, and then over the pier. Coming back into the city portion while avoiding this train car, and looping back around to begin lap 2. For lap 2, players will be doing Amsterdam Drift 2 in reverse. Hopping into the water, hopping on top of this boat, or taking the underwater route if you please. Taking a few left and right turns right about here. And then coming back around near to the end of the lap 2. For lap 3, we'll be doing Amsterdam Drift 3. Doing it backwards while avoiding the train car. However, here this unused route will be used, and then we're doing Amsterdam Drift 3 the correct way. Driving into the water, coming back out, into the flower fields. There's a couple of small grass patches which you can cut if you want to have a couple of mushrooms to use. Doesn't save much time, but I did think it's definitely worth it. Coming back around here, and then going down that unused route once again to finish off the track. And that's Amsterdam Drift. Our second race is GBA Riverside Park from Mario Kart Super Circuit. This one follows the route of the tour version rather than taking the complete original version, so it's kind of changed slightly. Players drive through the jungle, while of course avoiding a couple of piranha plants that are now added onto the track, and through this cave section, which was also put in Mario Kart Tour's version of Riverside Park. Overall, Riverside Park has not much to talk about, it's just basically a simple flat track, similar to how the GBA version was. Of course, you can cut off a couple of the road while going across the grass patches. Definitely saves a lot of time and it's definitely worth it. Now, normally when playing with normal items, the piranha plants would have items on them. However, as you can see with custom items, this isn't really the case, so it may not always have items when using custom items. If players were to be using with regular items, players can hit them with green shells to knock off items that they would usually have. However, as you can see, no items are present on the piranha plants, so they do not drop anything when you attack them. And that's GBA Riverside Park. Let's move on to the next track. For the third track of this wave, we have Wii DK Summit from Mario Kart Wii. Players start off by blasting through the cannon and heading up to the top of the mountain. Now it's time to make our way down. Overall, Wii DK Summit didn't change much. Of course, the statue is the same as the tour version rather than having the Mario statue just like the Wii version. And of course, half pipes are included, just like in the Wii version. Like I had mentioned earlier, DK Summit has no complete changes, so it's quite similar to the original Wii version. And of course, at this part near the end, there are still the skiing Shy Guys, so you might want to avoid those and not crash into them. Just like in the Wii version, there was those snow patches that you could not drive through unless you had a couple of mushrooms. And this is a similar case in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. And that's Wii DK Summit. Let's go to the next track. Now for our next track, we have Yoshi's Island. Now before I begin, I just want to mention something. So many people might think this is a Mario Kart 8 Deluxe exclusive, however, based on Mario Kart Tour, it is Mario Kart Tour exclusive track and is coming from Mario Kart Tour, however it's ported to 8 first. This track completely resembles Yoshi's Island, having so many different elements from the Yoshi's Island game. Things such as the Yoshi coin, the blargs, or is this cool little neat feature right here. having the platform similar to Yoshi's Island when you hit the flying cloud thing. Players can then also jump through that ring near the end, which usually finishes on many Yoshi's Island tracks. This track is littered with so many secrets throughout. Can you count how many there are, and can you figure out which secrets are hidden throughout the track? There's a couple of sound effects as well, so maybe look out for those. And try collecting 10 coins, see what happens to the coin counter. One more feature of Yoshi's Island is the start of the race and the end of the race. Why not take a listen to the sound effects when you can? Comment down below which sound effects you caught from this track, and what other secrets that you've noticed that were similar to the Yoshi's Island game. For our next track, we have Bangkok Rush from Mario Kart Tour. Once again, we're starting off with another tour track. Players will start off driving through the river section. Also being able to jump off these boats as well. Coming up is the market section. Players can either drive through, underneath, or on top. Here's where we come to a split path. Players can drive along the bottom portion, as well as players can go on top as well on the train track route rather than going on the bottom. Coming up is lap 2. For this one, players will be taking a right turn, driving through another market section once again, and then going down the route of Bangkok Rush 3. Players glide along here, passing by the Democracy Monument, taking a quick right, going through these dash panels, and avoiding a couple of crabs near the end. Watch out for those, I don't think you want to crash into them. Coming up is lap 3. Once again, going down this same route, through the small market section right here. However, instead of going to the right, players will then go to the left, through into the parking garage. After passing the parking garage, players can jump along these canopies, or go underneath as well. That concludes Bangkok Rush. Let's move on to the next track. For our next track, we have Mario Circuit from Mario Kart DS. Players start by taking a right turn, then the road gets a bit twisty around this portion right here, while avoiding the fire piranha plants. Players then enter through this pipe, and the scenery changes. We're now in a forest section. Players then jump out of the forest section, leading onto this sandy road, and back onto the main road, twisting back around, and taking you to the finish line to begin lap 2. Now there's not many shortcuts in this track, however there's plenty of places that you can cut a couple of corners. Coming up is one big shortcut. This one will definitely save you some time. However, I'd recommend at least 2 mushrooms, or maybe a star will get you through. In the forest section, there's also a couple of shortcuts, as the one you saw right there. There is a second shortcut coming up as well. One right here. Now, if you do not drive through the shortcuts, there is a wiggler that will be walking around on the 3rd lap, so you might want to avoid him. The shortcuts will definitely help you avoid any obstacles. And that's DS Mario Circuit. Our next track is Waluigi Stadium from Mario Kart Double Dash. After an entire year, Mario Kart Double Dash finally gets its representation of tracks in the Booster Course Pass. For Waluigi Stadium, it seems to have changed completely. Well, not entirely based on the layout, however, the scenery and the overall design of the track. Of course, are there the piranha plants again? The half pipes are included, just like in Mario Kart Wii's version. There's also plenty of tires littered around the track, so you might want to not run into those. However, mushrooms or stars can help you pass through them. Coming up here is a massive shortcut which can definitely help you in the long run. I definitely recommend maybe 2 mushrooms, however if you can get through with 1, fantastic. Something that was new to this track is a whole new section that you can drive on. However, getting up to this part here, it takes a little bit of skill and a little bit of precise jumping. Once again, players can do this similar trick right here. And once again, it does take a little bit of skill. And this last one here is a gliding section, so you can glide your way to the finish line. And that's GCN Waluigi Stadium. Let's move on to the last track. To finish off the 4th wave, we've got Singapore Speedway from Mario Kart Tour. Once again, we've got ourselves another tour track, so let's see how this one shapes out. For the first lap, we'll be going along the route of Singapore Speedway 1. Players drive along the pool section here, or they can go off to the side, getting a couple of boost panels, jumping off from a gliding section, through these dash rings, which by the way are exclusive to Mario Kart Tour, so it's pretty neat they brought them in. Now coming up is lap 2. For the second and third lap, it's a little bit different on how it would work. So let's see how these ones shape out. Players will start off by going along the route of Singapore Speedway 1, however turn into the Chinatown, which was in Singapore Speedway 3. Now while the Chinatown section is quite short, they do have a different variation of the Chinatown, so it's pretty neat to hear that one. Continue on to lap 2, players will be then going around this route, which is in Singapore Speedway 2. You can also get a couple of jump boosts off the geysers. And now for lap 3. Starts right in this portion about halfway through Singapore Speedway 2. If you want a little bit of extra speed, I definitely recommend taking the green path. The red one will definitely slow you down. Players will be going along the bridge here. And now we go backwards into Singapore Speedway 3. Players can jump on the top of the museum, or jump through these dash rings, come back to this portion here, and once again go through the Chinatown from Singapore Speedway 3. It's really neat that Nintendo actually incorporated Chinatown into both laps both laps 2 and 3, so we got to hear a final lap and a regular version. There's a small shortcut right here to finish off the track, and that's Singapore Speedway. So that was wave 4 of the Booster Course Pass. I definitely gotta say I loved a lot of the tracks. There are a few flaws I gotta say for some of them. This is my personal opinion, alright? So I can have an opinion. Overall, definitely a great wave. It is incredibly cool. I'm really excited to see what wave 5 and 6 bring us. So yeah, that was a showcase for wave 4. If you did enjoy, give this video a thumbs up, turn on notifications so you never miss a video, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye bye.